What's up, fam? I'm about to make some lunch with you and talk about the fact that you have it right and society has it all wrong. Now, this is really important because society really does have it wrong, and you've learned a lot of things about yourself and your life that are not serving you. You think that they should be, but they're not. And that is the reason why you are so stuck, and probably the reason that you are watching this video and why it turned up on your page. Okay, so as I crack some eggs, let's get into what I'm actually talking about here. So think about it. From ages, 4 and beyond, we enter the school system. We go to preschool, and then we go to kindergarten and first grade and beyond. Now, when you're 4 or 5 years old in preschool, we go and we sit, and there's a lot of different things that we're doing. Sometimes we actually learn and have like formal schoolwork that we're doing even at that young age. And then a lot of the times we're also just exploring, and we're having fun, and we're playing, and we're meeting new people, and we're running around on the playground, and we do all these things. But then by the time we get to kindergarten, we stop playing as much, right? It's more and more formal schoolwork. And we get into first grade and second grade and third grade and beyond, and it becomes more and more about working and having sitting down and doing the things, right? Studying, reading, doing our math, learning about history and science and all these things, and we have less and less time scheduled in for play. So you sit in a classroom for a couple hours, maybe till 11 o'clock, and then you get half hour, an hour of lunch, where you're talking, and then you go out and you have a half hour or an hour of recess. And then you go back and you sit in class all day long, and then you get off, and then you have free time to do whatever you want. Most of the time when we're super young, that's just play. We go off and we do whatever we want at home. Maybe we got some homework to do, but we're just doing whatever we want to do. But as we get further along in school and into college and then out into the work world, it's much more focused on the work and less about play. You get your 9-to-5 job, and then what are you doing all day? You're working, you get 15 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe an hour for lunch, and then you work for another few hours until 5 o'clock, and then you get a little time to do whatever you want. But at that point, you're so freaking exhausted, and you're stressed about all these other things that are happening in your life, and you're stressed about money and plans and bills and all of these different things that a lot of times we just get home from work and we don't really do much. We just kind of play video games or smoke weed, or we'll hang out with friends, or we'll just blast some music, but we're not really going out and then playing and having fun kind of creative time. It's more of this I'm exhausted and I just want to avoid everything and just get through the evening where I can just do nothing, and then I wake up and do work again. And the issue with this is that it's all backwards. Society has it wrong. We were taught that life and play, work and play, are separate. That we work, then we get time to play, then we work. And that's the narrative that's been built into us for decades and decades and decades. And most of you that are watching this, that's been the narrative that you learned from day one, right? That you gotta work hard, and that's the only way to be successful, and that you gotta put in the time and do those things. And in one aspect, yes, there is time to sit down and do those things. But the issue is that most people have separated these two things, so that now we set a time, some time for play after 5 p.m. and on weekends, but then the majority of our week is spent sitting, working, and most often it's doing something we don't really want to do. Now, for some of you, that works. Straight up, that's just at the end of the day, some of you don't really want anything else. You want to be told when to show up and what to do, and then you want to just be able to clock out and then just be able to do whatever. That's great, but that's not me. I worked a 9-to-5 for plenty of years, and it just did not resonate. The whole time, I just wanted freedom. I wanted to be doing the things I wanted to be doing, and I wanted life and work to actually be one. And over this journey of content creation and entrepreneurship and quitting my 9-to-5 and struggling with being confident and authentically expressing myself and feeling truly free, free of all of the fears in the mind and worry about what other people think. On this journey, I've really come to this place of finally realizing that we have it right and that the world has it wrong. Society has it wrong. So the issue is that this has now trained people to believe that they have to work and do the things that they don't want to do so that then they can play. And yeah, there might be a time in your life when you kind of just like have to do that because of where you're at in your current situation and where you're at in your own journey with all of this. But we need to start incorporating more play into our lives. If you truly want to be free, if you truly want to live like in real authentic confidence, in real authentic freedom, if you want to live on purpose and really just feel fully fulfilled in your life, if you're watching this, you're going to resonate with the fact that like you got to figure out how to combine work and play. And honestly, like the best way that I found to do this for me personally is through entrepreneurship. And that's a journey in of itself. It's not easy when you're starting, right? There's so much unlearning that you have to do. And it can be really daunting and a lot of fear. But it's been easily the single most greatest thing for my growth has been to go off on my own, lean into all of those fears, and begin to rewrite the script and see life a different way and have the courage to begin to speak it and to actually live it, right? So many people are like, you're quitting your job, you're going to start creating content, like what the fuck, how are you going to make money, how are you going to do all that? That's not the way life works. You got to put in your time, you got to grind, you got to work up the ladder. And I said, okay, great. You can believe that, you can live that. But I'm going to go off and I'm going to do something that's kind of against the grain of society. And it's been the greatest gift I've given myself. And now I help people do the same in whatever aspect that means for you. Primarily, I'm helping people with authentic confidence. That's all what my one-on-one coaching really is. My one-on-one mentorship program is designed to help people step into their true authentic freedom and create a life that feels more like play than it does like work. Okay? So it's so funny too, because the story that I had about myself for so long was that kids didn't have it right. That like adults have it right. Kids don't get it. And I always just felt like I couldn't really connect with kids, right? Because they don't understand the deep meaning of life. The issue with this is that like we're taking it so seriously. We're taking life and self-work and work and money and all these things so seriously that we're just constantly in this state of stress. Whereas kids from ages 0 to 7, they're just playing, they're just exploring. Life is so new to them. They don't have all these programs written in. So when they have free time, they go off and they play. They run around, they're creative. They create these own little worlds. They play with Legos. They go build stuff in the garage. You go play out in the dirt. And you go ride bikes and scooters and whatever it is that kids do. There's so many different things. And it's just all fun and creative and exploratory, right? Go watch a kid going exploring something new. Go running around at the park. It's just freedom, right? They're just having fun. They're looking at the slide like this is a whole different world and I'm going to go down this and enter a new portal, whatever it is. It's so imaginative. We thought that kids don't get it and then someday they'll learn and then they'll become adults and they'll realize that that's just not how life is. What I've come to realize is that kids have it right, we have it wrong. We think that life has to become more serious and it's all hard and all this. That is because of all the stories that we've written together as a society for decades and decades. And so when we look out in reality, it does appear that way. There's a lot of evidence that we can use to support that belief and that narrative. Okay, but you have to realize that that narrative and that belief we only have this evidence because we've co-created it as a society. We've kind of fallen into the trap of the ego mind, and we've created a society in which, yes, if we look out, it appears that that's the case. But what we're in now is we're in the age of Aquarius. We're in the fourth turning. The world is beginning to wake up. And so we're beginning to wake up to truth, to spiritual truth. We're beginning to connect with new narratives and new laws and new rules that we can then follow, right? Which are more of the laws of the universe, the divine laws of nature. And so what I would encourage you to do is look back into the ages of 0 to 7 in your life and think, like, what did that version of me like to do for fun? How did that version of me show up in life? What made that version of me laugh? When I had recess, what immediately were you going out and doing when you were 6 years old, 7 years old? And what, like, immediately you get freedom, you're out in recess, everyone runs out there. What are you doing? Where are you going on the playground? What are you doing, right? And if at that point you were already really struggling and like feeling like you couldn't fit in or whatever, go a little bit younger to when you were really know that like as a child you were just free doing whatever, okay? And then like, or you know, it's a weekend and you know that you've got some stuff to do with the family, all right? But you had, you know, a lot of the day was total freedom. Think about the summers when you were 7 years old. And think about what you did. What did you spend your time doing? You probably spent a lot of it playing, being creative, being outside, doing whatever. And so right now in your life, use that version of you as your teacher, as your mentor, as your guide. Look at them and say, hey, what would you do right now? You've got this hour, right? Or, if like you're doing work and you're actually showing up and you got to do this thing, it's like, hey, what would you want to do right now that's like work, but that you're kind of playing in? And begin to learn from that and begin to start taking steps, listening to your younger self as your guide, helping that version of you teach you of how to interact and how to play more in your life. And the thing is that as you play more in your life and you begin to have fun and you begin to do the things that you actually want to do, and you disconnect from all the seriousness and the learning and the money and the bills and all of this. And it's not to like bypass these things. That's a topic for a whole nother video. Like feel into that stuff because that's like very real in your experience right now. But see how you can begin to incorporate more play into your life and just have fun and be creative, because that's really what we're here to do, is to play. And life can be a beautiful symphony of playing. Like rather than, life got to be hard and got to be suffering and all of that, like think about who created that narrative. Who told you that? Did you actually tell yourself that? Or did you start telling yourself that because you were looking at the way that other people were living and they were living from this narrative already? Right? And so begin to let's rewrite our lives and realize that it can be that good. It can be as fun as you want it to be. Blast some music, grab your honey jar, and just sing a fucking song for the world, to you, whatever. Like dance, play, buy some Legos and go play with Legos. Go out in the woods and create your own little world in there. And as you begin to play more in your life, you're going to connect more with yourself, more with your true essence, more with your true authentic freedom. And as you begin to get comfortable in this play and you're not so scared in this play because you've gotten used to it and you've accepted it within yourself as something that you love to do and something that is okay and not a bad thing and not setting you up for failure but actually setting you up for success, your life is just going to merge more with this play and begin to fall into everything. The play is just going to be incorporated into so much in your life, and it's not just going to be this magic pill that now everything's easy and there's no suffering and all of that, because that's still a part of this experience. From ages 0 to 7, you cried, you were sad, you were hurt, you were lost, you were in pain, all of those things. Like that's a part of the experience. But it's like, think about, a little kid that you go and put in a room, you time out, and they're freaking out. Like they might fight for, 30 minutes, just like mad and yelling and crying and all of this. But you come in their room an hour later, what are they doing? They're playing. They got out their toys and they self-soothe themselves by being creative, having fun, playing, and then they're laughing again, and now you can kind of bring them back. And so it's like, how can you do more of that in your life? Play more. You'll experience more of yourself. You'll experience more authentic confidence. And then you'll walk through the world in this more playful energy because you realize that kids do have it all right. And you can walk through as an adult but be more of this kid in you. And that's so magnetic because we all really want permission just to play and have fun. And so I'm giving you that permission right now. Okay? And then as you go through the world and you begin to have that fun and be more creative and play more, you give others permission to be able to do that too, and you're going to become more magnetic, and people are going to want to listen to you, they're going to want to hear from you, they're going to want to learn from you, and so you don't have to try so hard anymore. You can just stop trying, be more of yourself, have fun, play, and realize that life can be that good. All right, if you enjoyed this content, and I didn't really make as much of my lunch, I got a lot more to make. I'm going to put together a little shake here with some frozen blueberries. I got some eggs. I usually make an avocado, but I don't have any right now. Gotta go to the grocery store later. But if you like this content, if you like just kind of me just doing whatever and riffing on some things that might be helpful for you, and if this was helpful, give me a like on this video to show me that you like it. And honestly, it's also for the algorithm so that more people can see this stuff. Comment down below. Let me know if you agree with this, if you don't agree, what kind of stories you're holding yourself back from, what kind of things you're going to go do for fun. And obviously, subscribe if you want more of this kind of content, because I'm going to start posting these more consistently just like this, because this is fun for me. This is a version of play for me. And so you're going to get to see more of this, more of me. I fucking love you. I appreciate that you watched all the way. If you're still listening to my words, you are a select few. There are not many of you that made it to the end of this. So I'm sending you so much love. And I'll see you in the next one.